Hi, my name is Corey Minter. I'm president of Trinity Employment Specialists. Trinity is a staffing company and we specialize in staffing for the medical field. And we do that in both Oklahoma City and Tulsa markets. And so for this short little segment, I want to talk real quickly about some of the positions that we recruit for and some of the attributes about an individual that we really try to target and see if we might be able to find someone off of this video that's looking for a good job in the medical field. Trinity, like I said, we've been in business in Tulsa, and we also do business in Oklahoma City, and we've done that for the last 10 years. And one of the things that we have specialized in, like I said earlier, is we really focus on the medical field, and we're known in the medical industry as being one of the top providers for quality for medical personnel. And we're very proud of that, but this is why, and this is how we're able to do that. We're always looking for LPNs, RNs, medical assistants, front office assistants, medical receptionists. All of these types of positions we are constantly recruiting for. It never stops. We try to find schedulers, financial counselors, everything in the medical field, from a front office person all the way up to a nurse practitioner. That's what we staff for. But this is the differentiator with Trinity, we believe. We really only want to try to provide A players to the clinics that we work with. And that is very difficult to do because most of your A players are currently working, because A players do three things. They stay where they're at longer, they recruit other A players over to the place that they're at, and also they do almost 1.5 times the work. So it's kind of counterintuitive to a staffing industry, because in the staffing industry, what our job is to do is find as many placements as we can and go place them. Well, if you do a really great job and you provide a company with only A players, and A players stay longer, they recruit other A players, and they do 1.5 times the work. As a staffing company, you almost work your way out of a company. We've done that with a lot of companies in Tulsa. We really have. But at the same time, that's where our referral has come from. It's just by doing a good job, you're able to slowly grow through Tulsa and Oklahoma City. But this is what we try to do. Work history says so much about an individual, and anymore in our society, a good work history is a commodity. In fact, I was doing a talk not long ago to millennials, and I told them, I said, it has never been easier to stand out in at least the last 20, 30, 40 years. They're when in the 70s and then early 80s, and then maybe even going into the 90s. If you had a high-level degree, man, you really stood out. It was, but you had to work really, really hard for it. But you really stood out, and you were sought after, and anyone wanted to hire you. If you had like a MBA degree, I remember when I very first started, it was such a huge deal was to hire somebody with an MBA degree. And now what it is it's work history. If you stay longer at each job, you will become a commodity. And you know what's so weird is that if you go on to some of these magazines, these career type magazines, there are a lot of popular articles that talk about, man, the only way to do it is to change careers. The only way to do it is to change careers, jump from one place to the other, and that's how you do it. Jump from one place to the other, and that's how you do it. And what ends up happening is every place that you jump, you become less and less specialized. Because unless that job is just identical to what you're doing, but that's not what the career magazines are saying. The career magazines are saying jump and expand your knowledge base. And what happens is you become less and less specialized. And I'm telling you, if you go and pull the salary reports right now of those individuals who are extremely specialized and those who are not specialized, you're going to see a big difference in their salary. And so that is probably one of the most important things to do, is just make yourself a commodity. And if you stay longer, you are going to be different than almost anyone else around. And it's a big thing. If Trinity can help you in any way, we would love to. Please give us a call. We're one of the best people to work with in the medical industry. 918-622-2588, or you can visit us online at trinityemployment.com. Thank you. Hi, my name is Corey Minter. I'm president of Trinity Employment Specialists. Trinity is a staffing company, and we work in both the Oklahoma City and the Tulsa markets. And one of the things that we've specialized in for years, we have accountants on our staff that do the recruiting for it, but we specialize in staffing for accounting. And it's a very, very important field. I'll tell you what, you go get an accountant that's responsible for keeping track of your income and your profit and loss statements, and they mess that up real bad, and you find that out in the next 2 or 3 years, you won't be so happy. It's really important to make sure and get high quality accounting personnel. In fact, it probably in the 90s, remember when Jack Welch came out with his book? He was a CEO of GE, and I was a part of this actually. I was working in a large oil and gas company, and it was the hardest part of my job. I hated it at the time, but the philosophy kind of makes my point about how important accounting is. And he basically said you need to terminate the bottom 20% of your accounting staff every year. Okay, I was the dude at that time that was responsible for terminating the 20%. And we were a large organization. We had about 500 employees, and I had to terminate the bottom 20% of our accounting staff. And these were individuals, a lot of them, it was very difficult for our staff to let them go because they were actually really good. They were just getting started, but they were in the bottom 20%. That's how important Jack Welch felt like having good accounting practices in your organization was. And so that is something that we provide to many great organizations throughout Tulsa. And it is so important to us to find exceptional accounting talent in Tulsa. That's why I've hired only accountants to do it. That way that we have a really good idea on whether they know what they're talking about or not. We don't want to waste anyone's time in an interview. But in everything else, what we want to try to focus on is getting a company an A player in accounting. We want to make certain that we are definitely in the top 20% versus the bottom 20% when we provide staff to organizations. It's really important to us. But we're always recruiting for CFOs, accountants, staff accountants, payroll specialists, everything that you can imagine in the accounting field, we are able to provide staffing for. It's just that the biggest thing that we look for is we want to see their work history. It says a lot about an individual. Also, another thing that we find very important, we will call references, and we won't just take all the references that they have on their sheet. We're going to try to find people that we know that they have worked with and contact them and find out if they are a good fit. If you will just ask a question and shut up and listen, you would be blown away at what people will say. And when you're talented in reference checking, you can find out so much more. And that's one of the things that Trinity we train our staff on, making sure to do great reference checks and not be scared to ask the tough questions and see if there's any way that we can find out how they really are. Yeah, because if we do, we will potentially save our clients tens of thousands of dollars in having a bad hire. And so it's something that we really take seriously. And when you're trained in learning about whether the person's being truthful or not, the reference, so not just the other day, I was getting ready to hire a salesperson for our office, and when I mean this person looked perfect, I couldn't believe that this individual was actually sitting in my office. I could not believe it. They were the best possible candidate ever. Everything looked great. Their work history and the whole deal, everything that they said, they were one of the best salespeople I've ever dealt with. And one of the craziest things, I called his, all of his references. None of them even answered the phone. One of them, it may have been a bad number. I'm really not sure. But I swear to you, this is what happened. I started asking detailed questions about this reference. This reference kept saying how great this person was. But it made me uncomfortable with how great they were saying that they were. And so I started asking questions. And the more detail I asked about their role in the company and how many hours they worked, how many customers they had, how many hours they had with each customer. And I asked some specific nuances about our business to see if they really knew our business. And what I found out in the end was that was his wife posing as his reference check, and nothing. This person had lied about everything that they had told us. And they were such a great liar. But I found, I wouldn't have found it had we not focused on the reference checks. And so that's something that we specialize in, knowing how to just work the psychology of it. But these are things that we do for the accounting companies and the large businesses that have accountants in them that we work with. And we would love to add value to your accounting staff. If you would like to reach out to us, please give us a call at 918-622-2588, or you can visit us online at trinityemployment.com. Thank you.